Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just give me a second. Are you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So I think this is where we had stopped. I explained to you about duration. Okay. And I also explained to you about what do you mean by modified duration, right? So what is duration and what is modified duration is what we have seen. In plain and simple words, it is not necessary to hold the bond till maturity. The moment you receive the last year's interest, you can sell off the bond and recover your money. There is no need for you to uh, uh, keep the bond with you for the entire duration of time. That is what this particular concept says about as far as duration is concerned, right? Now, don't worry about what is this convexity and all things. You will understand what do you mean by convexity of the bond at a later stage. Okay, it is nothing but it is a difference. It is a graph that depicts bond price on your y-axis. Okay, and it depicts yield to maturity on your x-axis. Okay, so this nature, the sloping nature, the dark color line that you can see, not the pink one, the dark color line that you can see, okay, that is what we call as convex nature of the bond. Okay, so it is nothing but it measures the sensitivity of modified duration to the changes in interest rate. So that is what it talks about. Okay, it's too premature to tell you all this. Okay, don't worry about all these factors. Most important thing is we'll come to the problem part of it. Now please pay attention and please sit down with a calculator and also the present value table. If you are able to find the present value table on your calculator itself, that's well and good, but if not, please keep a PV table besides you. Okay, now let us start to calculate what do we mean by exactly the word duration and how do we calculate duration, right? Now for simplicity's sake, I have given here one bond which has a face value of 1000 rupees, a coupon rate of 7%. Okay, coupon rate is nothing but, sorry, just give me a second. Coupon rate is nothing but C. Okay, and T is 4 years and yield is 6%. Okay, this is the data that has been given to us. Now we have to find out the duration of the bond. So let us try to find out the duration of the bond. Okay. So first we'll try to recall the formula. Sorry. First we'll try to recall the formula of that particular uh, duration. Okay. So we'll see what is the formula for the duration. Sorry. This is the formula that we have to understand. Clear? So this is the formula that we have to take into consideration. It is nothing but summation of present value of cash flows, okay, into time, the whole divided by PO. PO is nothing but sum of present value of cash flows. Clear? So we are going to use this particular formula and then try to find out what is the exact duration, what is the exact time we should keep the bond with ourselves. Because if we keep more than that, we are not going to earn extra money. On the other hand, we will lose on time value of money. So how do we make use of this particular duration concept to see to it that we incur more revenues or more returns from our investment, right? So I'm going to use the same formula. Only thing is I'm going to break up this particular formula. The reason for me breaking up this particular formula is it is summation. So for any number of years that I have to consider, I have to find out the sum of all those things. So what I'm doing, I'm breaking off this particular formula, and then this is the same formula that you get at the end of everything, right? So I have time of 4 years, so I note down 4 years. Okay, cash flow. Cash flow is nothing but every year how much money are you going to receive. So it is 7%, right? This is coupon rate is 7%. So 7% of what? 7% of face value. So if you calculate 7% of 1000, it works out to be 70 rupees. So in the first year, you will receive 70 rupees. In the second year, you will receive still 70 rupees. Third year, you will also receive 70 rupees. In the fourth year, you are going to receive the principal amount, that is the maturity value, 1000 rupees plus the fourth year interest. So totally, you are going to receive 1070 rupees. Getting my point? Any doubts up to this particular concept? Any doubts up to this particular point?
No, sir.
Fine. Now, the next part is we have to find out the present value. We have to find the present value. So present value is depicted in this particular table or this particular column. Now, why have I taken 6%? I should have already taken 7%, right? But why did I take 6%? Because 6% is the minimum yield that I expect. In other words, this is my required rate of return. This is my ROR, required rate of return. Okay. So it can be termed as yield. It can be termed as the required rate of return. Okay. I don't know how many of you know that this is also called as overall cost of capital. Overall cost of capital. Or in some books, they also write it as YTM, yield to maturity. Whatever it is, all mean the same. Whatever it is, all mean the same, that is 6%. So here I am going to consider my present value at 6%. So 6% for first year. For first year I get 0.943, second year 0.890, third year 0.840, fourth year 0.792. Now whatever values that I have got, please cross verify using a table, or if you don't know, use a calculator. Okay, use a calculator and then calculate the present value. Do you know how to use a calculator and find out the present value?
Don't know, sir.
You don't know how to calculate present value.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, we have that scientific calculator, sir.
Okay, you can do any calculator, not only scientific. Any calculator you can find out. Okay, I'll just tell you. Okay, now just look at this. 6% for first year. What is the formula to calculate future value? What is the formula to calculate future value? Future value is equal to present value into 1 plus r raised to n, right? This is the formula.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, here what do you have? What do you have? You don't have present value here, right? Here you don't have present value. You are supposed to calculate present value. Try to understand, when will you earn this 70 rupees? When will you earn this 70 rupees? In the first year, right? You will earn this money in the first year. You will earn this 70 rupees in the second year, third year, and fourth year. What is its value today? You don't know. So, in other words, you don't know the present value of that particular amount. But future value, no. Future value is 70 rupees, right? For first year, future value is 70 rupees, right? Now, what is your R? R is 6%. R is 6% and N for the first year becomes 1. So now in your calculator, calculate 1 plus 6%. That means 1.06. 1.06. Can you see this, or should I do it on the another slide?
So we can see it.
I'll just do it here. Okay. So I'll just write down small. So 1.06. How did I get 1.06? 6% is how much? 6% is how much? 0.06, right? So 1 plus 0.06 is 1.06 raised to 1 is same. So your answer is going to be 1.06. Now, this is what you have got, right? Present value is, we don't know, but future value we definitely know it is 70 rupees. Can you reverse the equation? So present value is equal to 70 rupees divided by 1.06. Solve this. Solve this. You should get this answer. Try it out. Is somebody trying it out? I want you to try it out, because otherwise it's no point just looking at numbers. Try it out on your calculator.
So we got 66.03 almost.
66.03. So in other words, 66 rupees 03 paisa. That paisa has no value. Today 1 rupee is not having
Okay,
any
sir.
value. Why are you worried about paisa? Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Now on similar basis, you have to calculate present value for the first year, calculate present value for the second year. Now only for the second year, your n becomes 2. Your n becomes 2. For third year, it becomes 3. For fourth year, it becomes 4. So on this basis, when you calculate present value, this is the present value that you get. And when you take the sum of this, when you take the sum of all this, when you take the sum of all this, the answer that you get, that is your PO, present value of sum of cash flows. When you take the sum of it, that is what you get, present value of sum of cash flows. Clear? Now, we come to this particular column. Under this column, how do we calculate PV into CT divided by PO? So for every answer that you get, every cash flow that you have divided by PO, here also for every answer that you have divided by PO, same thing here and same to be followed here. Try it out. Getting it? Last column is
Yes,
nothing
sir.
but
Got the same values.
what happened?
we got the same values.
You got the same values? Okay. The last column, which is this particular column, how do we solve it? Whatever answer that you have got here, whatever answer that you have got, multiply it with the years. Multiply it with number of years, time. So it is 0.638 into 1. Here it will become 2, 3, and 4. Multiply this. You will get these answers. Check it out. Try it out on yourself. And once you get all these answers, take the sum of all this. And when you take the sum, this is going to be your duration. Done? What does it mean? It means that we know that you have a bond which has a face value of 1000 rupees, which has a coupon of 7%. Time is 4 years. We know that it has time of 4 years. But after 3 years and 6 months, 3 years, 6 months, and 3 days, 3 years, 6 months, and 3 days, if you withdraw that bond or if you sell off that bond, whatever you are going to get at the end of fourth year, the same amount you are going to get at the end of this particular time frame, that is 3.63. Getting it? Getting the whole logic of why we need to calculate duration? By calculating duration, we come to a conclusion that it is not necessary for us to hold the bond for the full life of the bond. Okay, whatever is the duration answer, till that time we need to hold that particular bond, and once that time is reached, you can dispose of that bond or you can redeem that particular bond so that you recover your entire money. At the end of fourth year, you are also going to your whatever amount that you're going to get at the end of fourth year, the same amount you are going to get at the end of 3 years 6 months. So why do you want to waste another 6 months here? Why not earning anything? That is the whole question. Why do you want to waste 6 months here for not earning anything? You have wasted 6 months, and value of 6 months is important as far as time value of money is concerned. So what does it say? Instead of keeping the money for full 4 years in this particular bond, withdraw your money at the end of 3 years 6 months and 3 days and invest this money in some other business avenue. That is the whole concept of calculation of duration of the bond. Any doubts in understanding this? Next one, we have the concept called as modified duration. Now in case of modified duration, what happens? Okay, the formula for modified duration is duration divided by 1 plus YTM. Again, now what is YTM? I told you YTM is nothing but your yield itself. So it can be called yield, it can be called as required rate of return, it can be called as cost of capital, it can be called as YTM. It goes by any name. So 1 plus YTM, okay, whatever answer that you get, you divide 3.63 by 1.06. This is going to be your ultimate modified duration. So in exam, a question will come. They will ask you to calculate duration. Okay, they will ask you to calculate modified duration also. Are you able to understand? Are you able to get this concept of how do we estimate the duration of the bond? Guys, I want some feedback. I don't get any feedback from you. Are you able to understand what is being told here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, suppose if I change this particular problem, I keep everything same. Instead of this 7%, instead of this 7%, if I make this 8%, if I make this 8%, can you calculate? Instead of 7%, if I make this as 8%, rest everything remains the same. Can you calculate the duration of the bond? What is going to change? Only this part is going to change here. This part is going to change. Once this part changes, other things will remain. Of course, other things, when I say these values are going to remain the same, no change in these values. Of course, this table will change, this table will change, and the final table will also change. Clear? So only thing is you have to just replace the values and everything gets calculated. So this is how you have to calculate duration of the bond. Any doubts in understanding this, please? Because this is a sure shot question in your final exam. Calculation of duration. And believe me, they will not ask only one bond. They will give you a variety of bonds. In other words, they will give you around 2 to 3 bonds, and you're supposed to calculate duration for each and every bond that is given to you, and then compare and tell them which bond is much better, whether bond A, B, or C, which one is better. Or they will ask you to prioritize which one is the best, which one is second best, and which one is the last. So that question can also come here. So as I said, this was an example wherein coupon rate was 8%. Here it was 7%. Next page or next slide, I have made the same problem. Okay, only thing is I have changed the coupon rate to 8%. Okay, everything remains the same. Just look at the duration now. Uh, Here it was 3.63. Now it is 3.59. Here it is 3.59. And likewise, the modified duration also gets changed to 3.38. Clear? Any doubts in understanding this, please? I am telling you once again, if you have doubts, please raise your hand, ask your doubts. If you just sit on this problem, believe me, it's difficult to get a solution to all these concepts. Yeah. Any doubts, please?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. I'll proceed.
No, sir.
So this was the aspect of how to estimate duration of the bond. So this is one problem. Okay, I'll just remove all these changes. So this is the first problem that we solved today. Okay, and this is the second problem that we have. I've just showed you. I've not solved it, but I've just showed you this particular second problem. So this talks about the duration of the bond. The next part that we have to understand is something called as immunization. Okay, this is called bond immunization. Immunization means to make sure that come what may, you will not have a loss if you make an investment in the bond because of the changes in interest rate. I repeat, bond immunization means when you have a certain sum of money and you have invested this particular sum of money into two different bonds, and it might so happen that over a period of time, the rate of interest on these bonds change. And when the rate of interest on these bond changes, naturally your earnings are also going to change. In other words, your returns are also going to change. How to make sure that come what may, even if the rate of interest changes, your bond or your returns will not get affected. So that strategy is called as bond immunization strategy. Are you able to understand? And the formula for bond immunization strategy is X1, that is proportion of investment into bond 1. D1 stands for duration of that particular bond. Suppose I have bond A. Okay. Suppose this is bond A and this is bond B. So the proportion of money that I'm going to invest in bond A and the duration of bond A, I have to estimate. Next, proportion of investment in bond B and the duration of bond B, I have to estimate. And since I have taken two bonds, my constant is going to be 2. Are you able to understand? So we using this particular formula, we can estimate or we can calculate how would be the bond immunization strategy, or how to see to it that we safeguard ourselves as far as bond immunization is concerned. Okay, so this is a strategy. I cannot explain you the theoretical concepts of this particular strategy. I have to take a problem itself, and without problem I cannot explain you this particular strategy, right? So we'll take up a problem and then I'll be able to explain to you what do you mean by bond immunization strategy. Clear? Now, once we complete bond immunization, okay, once we complete bond immunization, we are done with, okay, this particular slide is the end of theory of bond valuation. This is the end of bond valuation, right? Now what is left is, we are left with one, we are left with problems on bond valuation. Okay, next we are left with problems on pricing. Next we are left with problems on YTM, how to estimate YTM, and how to estimate bond immunization strategy, or we call it as BI, bond immunization strategy. So these are four different aspects of problems that are pending from my side, which I will solve it in the tomorrow's class. That is, whenever I have my investment management class, that on that particular day I am going to solve problems on all these aspects. Now for my next investment management class, I want all of you to come prepared with a present value table. One, second, keep a calculator handy, and third, sit down with a notebook. Because if you don't understand what I'm doing, and nearby seeing the slide, you will definitely not come to understand how did I arrive at this particular formula, or how did I arrive at that particular value. So in my next class, I'm going to deal only with problems on as far as bond immunization, and in other words, everything related to bonds is what I'm going to discuss. And once we are done with that bond valuation, then we come to equity valuation. We come to equity valuation, right? Don't get afraid by looking at the formulas, but these are the formulas that we have to understand as far as equity valuation is concerned. Okay, so we have there are four aspects. One is a simple single year holding period. Okay, next we have multiple year holding period. Then we have the two stage model. Okay, then we have the three stage model. In fact, I have not written the formula here. There is three stage model. Okay, then there is PE valuation, price earning multiple valuation. So all these are nothing but the formulas that are there as far as valuation of an equity share is concerned. But right now I don't want to confuse you with equity valuation. Let us complete first bond valuation, and only after completion of bond valuation, then we can start with the other parts of it. Clear? Again, don't get afraid by looking at the formula. The formulas are simple to understand. Only thing is, you'll have to write down these particular formulas off and on. Remember, by just looking at the formulas, you will definitely not understand. You have to write it down continuously, right? You have to keep on writing those formulas, and at some point of time, you will try to recollect that particular formula. Where students go wrong in this second stage or two stage model is, here there is a plus sign, they put multiplication sign, and here there is a multiplication sign, they put a plus sign. This is where students go wrong. Everything is correct, but just these two signs make a lot of difference. The answer completely goes wrong, and this problem usually comes for 10 marks. You go wrong here, you lose 10 marks straight, right? So please be aware. Look at the formulas what are mentioned here. Look at the formulas, look at the signs that are mentioned here, and accordingly we'll have to solve these particular problems. Clear? Right now, again, I'm saying I'm not confusing you with equity valuation. First, let us complete only the bond valuation or bond pricing part of it, and then we'll come to equity valuation. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We still have around 5 minutes time. Do you want to solve a problem? We'll start with pricing. Simple. We'll start with the pricing part of it because this is very simple. Okay. Uh, no, anyways, I have to type that particular problem. Otherwise, you'll not get it. Fine. I'll stop the class here. In my next class, I will type the problems on every slide and then we will solve all those particular problems. Clear? But next slide, next time you should sit with your calculator, PV table and a notebook. Clear? Please solve the problems the way I am solving it. Mere looking at the problems, you will definitely not understand what is happening here. Especially when it comes to now, especially with immunization and further parts, you will not get it if you don't solve along with me. Clear? So I'll stop the class here. I have just 3 minutes left. I'll stop the class here and I'll meet you in the next class. Okay. Everyone, please come in the video mode.
Sir, please will you send that direct tax problem, sir?
Which one?
Capital gain.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Capital gain, sir.
Yes.
You said you. Yes, sir.
No, I left my laptop here itself and then there was holiday for college. One more thing. Next class, I don't want Rashmi, Rohin, and Mrunali to answer. I want others to answer and I'll catch those. Swapnil, even you. I don't want you to answer. I'll catch some other people. Okay, because they often are on a silent mode. So I'll have to catch. Dhanashri, Mohammad Sufyan, be ready. Next class, Renuka. Next class, I'm going to ask you questions. So be ready. Okay, yeah, just a minute. There are only 21 of you here in the class.
So do we have any further classes?
I think Prayak sir might take HR analytics. See, today what is happening is college is going to start, right, for engineering. So everyone is busy in the swap test.